Story 1. Not understanding basic boundaries. One time, a man was being forceful with me when I was refusing. He said, "I know women like it when it's forceful." I think he confused being dominant with being forceful. Story 2. Men think women like what men do to women in pornography. Some women may want that, but they are few. Story 3. Complimenting you by insulting another woman. People want to be complimented on unique traits that make them special, not just by comparison to others they think are worse. Story 4. Is it driving past random girls on the road, blasting super loud music, revving the engine loudly, honking the horn, and shouting at them? Is it that? Story 5. Saying strange things to them in public. A man walked up to me and asked, "Do you want to change the world?" He was trying to hit on me. That was his pickup line. I took him seriously and started asking for specifics like how we were going to change it and what kind of change he meant. He didn't have any clear answers and became uncomfortable. I am all business when it comes to changing the world. Story 6. A man told me, "You are very attractive. How are you doing?" Many men will compliment my body or say something sexual as their first message to me on a dating app. I wish they would just say I am pretty or simply say hi. Story 7. Every woman is different, so it is better to talk to her instead of assuming. I often see men use their mother's or, even worse, their ex-partner's preferences as standard and think that their partner would be the same. Story 8. Blaring the loud engines of cars and motorcycles. Sweetie, the only ones you're impressing are other men. Story 9. When they treat your intimate area like a disc jockey and start just flapping their hand around wildly far from the clitoris. Story 10. I am a man, but I notice that the majority of women do not like hunting, especially the pleasure killing of animals. Story 11. Negging. A little light teasing is all well. Negging is just straight up bullying. Please do not bully the person you like. It is not very nice. Story 12. Man here, but I'll answer. When women are asked a question and men feel the need to chime in with their own answers. Story 13. While it is very sweet, my partner buys me flowers each time we have an argument. I would rather that we sit and talk about it like adults rather than him bringing me a treat as a recipe for forgiveness every time. Story 14. If I do not know you, do not call me a pet name. I am not your baby or your princess or anything like that. It is just gross. Story 15. I hope that intrusive, aggressive, and loud drivers in cars are a general turnoff to everyone. It is so entitled. Story 16. I am a man, but can I answer? Many men think women want their problems solved when they complain about something. No, she most likely just wants to rant. Just listen to her complain, comment on it to agree with her, but do not solve the problem. Story 17. They think showering me with compliments shows they want me, but in reality, I just feel dehumanized and like a trophy to be won. They do not actually care about or respect me as a living human being. They just idealize the idea of me. Story 18. Being jealous and overly protective had one boyfriend like that, and it officially solidified that it is only attractive in fiction. Story 19. Not properly taking care of yourself is not funny or cute. If you do not do your laundry, you have to smell everything before going out. Also, in case anyone was not told, please use shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. 2-in-1 and 5-in-1 products do not work properly. Use a washcloth or loofah when washing your body. For your future sex life, wash your genital and anal areas thoroughly. Story 20. Men who act like they do not have emotions. They are never sad, angry, or scared of anything. Just be real. Story 21. Speeding and posting their car everywhere. Also, boasting about how many girls they have dated or that a girl noticed them. Story 22. I am guilty of many of the things mentioned in this thread. Thank you, ladies, for the feedback. I have some work to do. Story 23. Being pursued after saying no. No, I do not want to convince me. I want you to leave me alone. I have known mainly good guys who accepted a no, so I am not one to make a whole gender problem about it, and it does happen in the opposite direction too. It is just annoying when your polite no is met with unbelief and the assurance that I would change my mind in time and he would prove it to me. Story 24. Making sexual comments to women on the first date or in the early stages of getting to know them is a major turnoff. It does not make them want to sleep with you. It makes them want to run away. Story 25. As a redhead, I hate it when men say, "I'm really into redheads," or ask, "Do the curtains match the drapes?" It irritates me to my core. Story 26. Insanely ripped or toned bodies. If a man's muscles are so defined and there is not enough body fat around them, it is not attractive and looks unnatural. Men who lift weights naturally usually have a healthy percentage of body fat. Most women also like dad bodies. The obsession with penis size is mostly men trying to impress other men, not women. Unless you have a very small penis, the vast majority of women do not care. Most problems arise when the penis is too large and causes discomfort. Acting arrogant and cocky is often mistaken for confidence, but it is actually a red flag. True confidence includes humility and respect. When a man is both confident and humble, that is what women find attractive. Story 27. That uncomfortable position with our knees in our chest or legs over our head. Maybe just me, but I don't like it at all. Story 28. Telling me you are a leader is unnecessary. I will figure that out myself through observation. Story 29. Opening with, "Hey beautiful, bear me." It's lazy, transparent, and probably copied to a dozen other women. We see right through it. Treat us like normal people or just go away. Story 30. Treating women differently than men. I have met many men who are crass and outspoken with other men, but the moment a woman enters the room, they completely change and act overly sensitive and considerate, treating her as if she is fragile. I do not understand why some men do this, but no woman appreciates it. We can tell when someone is putting on an act, and it makes us feel like we cannot trust them because we do not know which version is genuine. If it is a situation where a man acts differently with his male friends because he does not have to pretend, that is even worse. Why would I want someone who lacks the self-respect to have people in his life with whom he can truly be himself? I am not a fan of how this mindset supports the harmful idea that men do not deserve basic human decency and that kindness and politeness are only for women. It feels wrong to treat people differently based on gender. We are all human and deserve to be treated with kindness and care. Story 31. My answer goes for goth and alternative women. The majority of us do not like being referred to as a big titty goth girlfriend. No, I will not be your dominant mommy. And no, you cannot just push me up against the wall by my throat because you assume from my style that I will be into being choked by some random man I barely even know. Yes, that has happened to me. Story 32. When he is constantly making sexual comments about me, I start thinking he only likes me for my body. For example, "You are so hot. I want you so bad." I like compliments, do not get me wrong, but it gets to a point where it is too much and I start thinking, is that all he wants from me? I want to be more than just a sexual desire. Story 33. That annoying "come here" finger gesture when they are fingering. It is uncomfortable, but every man thinks he is an expert. Story 34. Overcommitment early on and the assumption that women are obsessed with marriage and children. Most women would be uncomfortable if a man talks about wanting to have children with them, even those who actually want children. It is a significant matter for a woman to consider, and even women who want children prefer to be careful and feel ready. An obsession with children can come across as if he wants something from a woman rather than simply enjoying being with her, which is not a compliment at all. Additionally, many women do not want children or to give birth, so talking about it can be unappealing. Some men disregard when a woman is not rushing a relationship, does not want children, or does not care about weddings because they assume this is what women want to hear. As a result, they come across as unappealing. If someone wants to marry you without knowing you well and you have many other priorities, that is not romantic but strange. Story 35. Large penises. Ask any woman who has been with someone 8 inches or longer, and she will tell you that a penis that size can make sex painful rather than pleasurable. Men often complain about being small or average-sized and fantasize about having 12-inch penises, but most women do not want that. 7 inches is the ideal size for me. It is larger than average but not so big that it causes discomfort. Story 36. The whole "look how fast I can take this turn" routine just makes me grip the seat, not swoon. And yes, revving your engine is not as attractive as you think. It is just an obnoxious mating call for men. It is funny how the men who get defensive about this are always the ones with the loudest exhausts. Story 37. Being compared to other women, particularly being told you are prettier or funnier than other girls, is a major red flag. The line, "You are not like any other girls I have dated, you are so funny and smart," indicates that he either has poor taste in women, and you are the first decent person to give him a chance, or he does not pay enough attention to notice when women are funny or smart. It is much more appealing to be complimented as an individual, especially when it is not tied to being exceptional for your gender. Story 38. Boasting about making every woman you dated reach orgasm. Do you know how common it is for women not to reach climax, or how much effort it takes? Yes, I never believe it. I think the guy is insecure and a liar. Story 39. Men who do not take care of themselves. They do not fix their hair, beard, or clothes, but not excessively. It is the difference between a woman's face with makeup and a touch of mascara. Not to please others necessarily, but simply out of self-care. Story 40. Defending me is attractive. Fighting is not, even in my honor. It is much more appealing to have self-control and to be a safe, kind, and thoughtful person who understands consequences. Story 41. Most women do not care how much money you have, as long as you are financially responsible and not a burden. They do not care about the cars or properties you own or your job title. All they want is someone who is kind, thoughtful, fulfills their share of relationship and household work, because relationships require effort. Being a good partner is not always easy. They want someone who treats them with respect both in person and when they are not present. Story 42. Having the puffed-up Larry the Lobster Arnold Schwarzenegger. My only personality is the gym bodybuilder figure. You are only impressing other muscular men. Story 43. Grand romantic gestures. I'd much prefer someone making actual change or doing the work, because in my experience the one-time gesture is easy and used to get off the hook for bad behavior. I don't know of many instances of grand gestures outside of when a man is seeking forgiveness or love bombing, so I think my usual reaction is just pure suspicion. I know movies and television really try to make it a thing. Also, when someone is intentionally vague in their political opinions to try to stay in good graces with a woman, it is unappealing. Just be straightforward and confident in what you believe, since we will find out eventually anyway. I'd much prefer someone who is honest about their opinions or lack of knowledge about something but is open-minded. Another immediate turnoff is performative macho behavior. Story 44. We do not like men who claim to be providers but then expect us to do all the physical and emotional labor in the relationship. We want a partner, not a project. Story 45. Making a big deal out of being an ally and how they are emotionally intelligent for going to therapy. If you want to show that you are a good person, do so with your actions. Being in those spaces does not mean you are immune from being unkind. Story 46. When a man thinks that every woman wants to be a mother and get married, it is a huge generalization that is not true for everyone. Story 47. Gym enthusiasts. We do not focus on big muscles and six-pack abs. We prefer a balanced individual who is not obsessed with protein intake. Story 48. It's true for both genders, to be fair, but in general, playing hard to get and playing mind games because everyone is supposed to like the chase. Story 49. My father-in-law used to tell my husband that girls like 1. Guys with many romantic partners. 2. Guys with loud cars. 3. Guys with loud music. 4. Muscles over intelligence. My husband has none of those traits, and I completely prefer it that way. However, his father keeps trying to convince him that I secretly dislike him because of it. Story 50. When you spray yourself with perfume, even a little is too much for me. I don't like it at all, and more than a tiny bit gives me a headache. Some men have a strong scent that precedes them and lingers. Just don't. You are fine if you smell of soap and natural sweat. Maybe a splash of cologne. The stuff that comes in spray cans is nearly as off-putting as the rancid tobacco smell. Story 51. Facial ejaculations are mainly associated with adult entertainment. In real life, however, I have only been with one woman who genuinely enjoyed them. Story 52. Being compared to other women is frustrating. Thank you for explaining in depth why that girl just enjoying her coffee across the room is not your type, and how you find me much more attractive. Guys actually do this, and it is a big problem. Story 53. Perfect looks are not necessary. We do not need you to look like Henry Cavill. If we have chemistry, you are really good at something, you have your life together, and you treat me very well, I will likely find you more attractive than any other man in the world. Story 54. I think it's a pretty common misconception that all women want a mysterious bad boy who treats them like an afterthought, but no, absolutely not. Most women want a transparent good guy who treats them like a priority. Story 55. When guys do stupid things to their cars to make them louder and then show off that their cars are louder, it does not look cool. It just makes them look foolish. Story 56. 1. Acting super masculine or as an alpha male by seeming insensitive, stoic, and unemotional. 2. Acting like their libido is out of control. Talking about women physically and staring at women, which is unpleasant. 3. When a man acts aggressive to appear tough but cannot be calmly assertive to defend you. Story 57. Chivalry, performative traditional masculinity, big muscles, jocks, meatheads, flexing in pictures and mirrors, showing off especially in obnoxious ways. Story 58. I am told women love a handbrake turn, which is why electric parking brakes are ruining the dating game. Story 59. Strictly appearance-based compliments, like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," are nice. I like those kinds of compliments, but if we are in a talking phase and you like me, I want to hear exactly why you like me. What else, other than my physical appearance, makes you want to spend time with me? Story 60. Porn cosplay. You like that? You like when I thrust you with my penis? Absolutely not. Also, stop with the "my dirty girl" and "good girl" phrases. Gross. I am nobody's girl. I am a woman. Story 61. Guy here. I think women do not like the stalking type, such as sending more than 20 messages or the person who keeps persisting or confessing love when it is obvious there is no interest. I have had to tell off some men because a coworker complained about being harassed. I told them to move on. There are plenty of other people out there. Story 62. That fake alpha male, G.I. Joe, big truck nonsense. It gives off embarrassingly low IQ, insecure teenager vibes, and no grown woman in her right mind would want to come near that. Story 63. I own a fair number of guns and have noticed that many people think guns make women go crazy. Having a gun does not make you tough or cool. These are also the same people who disregard nearly every rule of firearm safety. Story 64. Talking and acting like the characters in explicit novels does not translate into real life. It is just cringeworthy. Similarly, some things in adult films do not come across as sexy when done in real life. Always keep fantasy and reality separate. Story 65. The toxic behavior of not smiling for any pictures, even when happy, by maintaining a straight, serious face to appear tough is a strange way to attract someone, unless you are trying to be their professional bodyguard. No one wants that and no one likes that. Tells me everything I need to know. Story 66. Oh my God. This guy direct messaged me and literally the third sentence was, "I want you to refer to me as daddy." He is 60 and I am not far behind that. I told him I was not going to refer to anyone as daddy. He said it made him feel secure. What the heck? Gross. Delete. Block. Story 67. Speaking negatively or name-calling your former partners does not make me feel affirmed. It only lets me know how you might speak about me after we break up. Story 68. If I say I like something, do not change it. Example. If I like the rhythm you are going, the sound you are making, do not suddenly jackhammer me, and do not turn into a growling wolf out of nowhere. There is no need to intensify. Story 69. Choking and anal play. Just ask. Do not choke a person when they are most vulnerable. Also, people assigned female at birth do not have a prostate. Anal play is more of an exception and not the rule. Story 70. Men making a helicopter motion with their private parts. Also, when men suddenly expose themselves and say, You know you want some of this, without any prior indication while I am just in the kitchen cooking or whatever. Story 71. They tell us they like natural women or that we are not like other women. I am currently wearing a full face of makeup that looks natural but is not. Story 72. Sharing explicit photos or discussing sex early in a conversation when you are just getting to know one another. Being honked at or shouted at while walking. No woman has ever enjoyed catcalling. Refusing to accept no for an answer. Referring to yourself as alpha. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.